Arizona is a land of contrasts.
But I'm going out west where I belong. Oh, where they dance all night and all day long. Where they walk, they talk, that's all. Where they twist, like this. They shimmy, and don't you hear me? Well, they're out there having fun in a warm Arizona sun. Oh, well, I'm going.
Welcome back to Desert Spotlight. I'm your host, Pierce Lochner, and on this week's episode, we travel to the land of Tucson, Arizona to meet with the Southern Arizona Arts Guild. We're going to meet with 40 artists today, so mask up. I'm walking. Let's ride. That was a hell of a walk, let me tell you what, but here we are in front of SAAG, Southern Arizona Arts Guild, and we are doing it. We're going interviewing door to door, talking to everybody around the town. It's going to be a hell of a day. It's going to be a great show. Here we go. We are at the SAAG Gallery at La Encantada with
Melissa Rogers.
Awesome. Okay, Melissa. So what's going on today? We've seen a lot of other people. What's the news on this event?
I know it's pretty exciting here. We went ahead and rented the Brooks Brothers and Papyrus that had gone out of business, and we filled it up with more of our artists from the Guild. And we are having a blowout sale, a sweep the studio sale. We had all of this inventory ready to go for the whole spring season, and that got closed down. So the artist said, I want to make more, I need to make money, let it go.
So this is like the first big event since the pandemic, and there were a ton of people out here buying art, getting everything. It was super cool. So how many artists are a part of the Guild?
In the gallery right here, we have about 85. In the Guild, we have about 200, and some of them are interspersed in both the places. So there's some that are in the gallery and some that are in the gallery and in the new pop-up that we just did for today. They're everywhere.
And then, so you said there are pop-ups that were just opened up today, so at the old Papyrus and then the other
And Brooks
Brothers. But this is here 24/7, right?
Absolutely. We're here 7 days a week, 24/7. The SAAG Gallery is a part of the Southern Arizona Arts Guild. And we use this as an incubator for artists that haven't gotten into a bigger gallery or whatever. Yeah. So it's a stepping stone. So it's very, very affordable for anyone.
And I see that you have, it's not just one type. There's so many different types of artists here. And it's really, so it's just a home for upcoming Arizona artists.
Absolutely. We try and have one type of art represented everywhere. So it's a lot of different painters, different styles of painting, different mediums of painting, and then we have ceramics, all the fine crafts that you could imagine.
Okay, very cool. So what happens, people come in here and then they get to bigger galleries, what's the next step for SAAG, or what is it everything you envisioned it as?
It's probably more, I think, than we envisioned.
Really?
It's a lot more work because everybody in SAAG is a volunteer. So with 80 artists and trying to schedule them to work and bringing work in, and especially during the holidays, I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of work. It's 5 days a week in the holidays just trying to keep the walls filled.
Oh, wow. I mean, but they are filled. It's a beautiful gallery. Everybody should come on down to La Encantada and check out the SAAG Gallery and pick up a piece, because as you said, it's all affordable, and you're supporting local artists, and that's what we're all about.
And it's all unique. I mean, you just can't find it anywhere else.
And I think it's really cool that it's all a community too, because artists build off of other artists, and then their pieces become something entirely new. It's not just them, it's the whole scene. And
It's an inspiration.
I think it's really cool that they have this space to do that.
Yeah, the average person, I mean, it's 4,500 square feet, so the average person spends at least 20 to 25 minutes in here. There's just so much to see. So if you're looking for an artful experience, something to get you inspired, a happy moment, this is the place you need to come.
Come on down.
Hi, I'm James Larson, local Tucson artist. I paint only in oil paints, and my paintings are designed to be bright, and when you walk into a room, boom, you see it, and then you get close and you notice all the detail. For example, there's 19 ladybugs in here, and you wouldn't see them across the room, but when you get close, you can start counting them, and there's 19 of them. Every one of my paintings has a little ladybug somewhere hidden in it. That's my signature deal. This is taken from a prickly pear on the front yard when they bloom in the spring. These are just quickly my dogs. I do dog portraits, so Lucky and Buster. This is from a picture of oleander in my backyard. Oleanders are taken for granted. They're in everyone's yard, they're everywhere. I think they're pretty beautiful. This thing is real rough. I wanted to get the feeling of pollen because when you get into a flower really close, there's all this pollen in there, and there's 7 ladybugs also in this, and if you're back across the room, you don't see them, and then when you get close, they show up. They're hidden. Sometimes I have to look for them. I swear they move around. Like this one, there he is. There's one right there. And then this is the latest one I did, Fire on the Mountain. We just had a lot of fire on the mountain in Tucson, and it was representing living in the desert, and you see the cactus and the flowers, and then you look up, and in the distance you see the mountain on fire, which is very beautiful. It's a natural occurrence. It's good for the land. They had the mariachis out at the Desert Diamond. I took a photo of this girl, and then I painted it, and I wanted to get the motion of what they do. It's called Celebration. I wanted to keep the background real simple, just to get the motion. This one, my attempt at abstract, it's called Rebirth. And there's a little umbilical cord going around this thing, and there's a bunch of little embryos around out there. So it's an abstract. And this is one of the latest ones I did too. It got really, really hot, and it has 2 titles like Rocky and Bullwinkle. It's called Here Comes the Sun, or It's a Dry Heat. And so the cactus are melting, the saguaros are on fire, and then down here, a little rabbit's coming out of his hole with sunglasses on. And just to let you guys know, I have a lot of paintings. This is a small amount, and big paintings, real big paintings. And I am currently looking for a gallery to show my art. So I would appreciate if anybody has a gallery, I'll talk to them.
Okay, so we are here with Jorge, and we're going to be talking about his start and just his art in general. So how did you get started into all this? What was the beginning?
The beginning was, I would say, in Buenos Aires, 16 years old. I did a tapestry, and I loved it. But then by 19, I left Buenos Aires, and I came to New York. I went to New York. And New York was a center of art. My aunt painted. So I would go to all the art galleries. I would go to the museums when I had money, and it was a turn on for art. New York is
It's an art mecca.
It's an art mecca, exactly, and great museums. So I did art on my own. Took small courses on color, but then I went to Pratt Manhattan Center for printing. It was lithograph on stone, but then stone was difficult. I went to photo techniques on plates, and I did a lot of printing. I actually went to Brazil, photographed the carnival, and I did a series on the Carnival of Brazil, which was
that
fascinating.
sounds so cool. You went to Carnival.
It was fascinating because of the colors and the cultural part of the carnival. Then I went into fashion and I started to do 3-dimensional pieces.
And what were you designing in fact? It was men's, women's fashion?
It was women's fashion, done by Lisandro Sarasola, an Argentinian designer. He was very creative, and I would do the three-dimensional pieces as adornments for his designs. But from that, then I started to create boxes. They were little boxes, like jewel boxes.
Oh, okay.
Because a friend of mine, Roberto Esteves, he used to make some incredible boxes, and I was turned on by it. It was just really interesting. And then continue from there to do some tables and furniture. And then I came to the West, and I started to get into metal.
Okay.
And metal is fascinating.
And who was your mentor with metal, or did you teach yourself?
I went to Pima. Tom McClain was the teacher, and he was fascinating. He helped me a lot to understand and learn. And then he left. Now is Ricardo Quiroz is the teacher or the professor, and he's also a fascinating creative man. And just as I was mentioning earlier, there's so many creative people there in the class that you bump each other's creativity.
And I'm sure like the lizard didn't look the same until you went to Pima, because you learn from other people's techniques, and then your art becomes a conglomerate of the people that you learn with.
Yes.
So it's really unique, and I think that's super cool about Pima and their community.
That is beautiful, and there's a lot of creativity, amazing amount of creativity there.
And so tell me about this piece right here. Is it all wood?
This is wood.
Okay.
With acrylic. This is the remnants of my fashion time, beads and stones, and then I add my color. So in a way, I always liked collaging, putting together different pieces. I do the same thing on the metal.
Yeah, I like this. I think this is cool that it's from your fashion days. It's like an homage to where you came from.
It's things that I collected and I kept, and I do altares, I do triptychs that have all kinds, have chain, has glass, has anything that I could find. Some people give me things, and then I will cut them and sort of give them a different personality, so that when you look at it, you have to really
dissect it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So and my website is Work Archives, Art Archives. There's a Artwork Archives. I never remember that. .com, and that'll show you. So that's the.
And we're gonna show it to them too. So this has been Jorge, and you can find all of his pieces on artworkarchive.com.
I'm Teresa Palucci, and I'm part of the Southern Arizona Arts Guild. It's been a privilege to be part of the Guild. I originally was a newspaper publisher for many years, but when I retired, I started doing art. I love to paint pets. I've done sort of a silly cat over here, and if you see up here, I've done a dog. I call that one Bad Dog. He looks like he's guilty. So all that one has to do is contact me online, and my website address is artistteresapalucci.com, and you can learn more about this. But right now what I'm doing is I'll paint, if you send me a picture on the computer of your dog, I'll paint the dog on a 16 by 20 canvas for $200, and I will even put in a better background if you have a beautiful picture of your dog but you don't like the background. So it's especially this time of year with Christmas coming up, it's a great time to think about doing pet portraits. Many years ago I was interviewing the director of the Pacific Northwest Ballet in Seattle, and I went into his office and it was absolutely gorgeous, covered with beautiful art. And he said something to me that always stuck with me, and that is, life is too short not to be surrounded by beauty. So when I think of art, back when I was working and raising a family, it seemed like it was too expensive and not something I could really have. But as I've gotten into the art industry, I've realized that you can afford art and you can surround yourself with beauty. You can go to art shows and find all sorts of deals. You could come over to the SAAG gallery and find all sorts of deals. And the prices are all over the place. So don't be afraid of art. Collect it. Surround yourself with color. Surround yourself with beauty. You will never be sorry that you have. And to have an original piece is very meaningful. It's something you can pass on through your family. So I also teach a lot of art classes. I teach them at SAAG. Right now we're at the Sweep the Studio sale. So I'm just showing some pieces right now that I just have extra in my gallery. So you can see, for instance, I'm selling something for $40 or $30 or $15. So don't be afraid to get out there and try to find some art for yourself. I teach right now at the gallery, I'm teaching how to do flows. You don't have to be an artist to do it. It doesn't require any drawing. And I also teach a lot of alcohol inks. For example, this heart right here. So it's very easy to do. And so even if you feel that you can't afford art, learn some art. It's relaxing. It certainly has turned out to be my happy place. And you know, anybody can do it. I believe everybody has some creativity in them. So it's just a matter of not being afraid and just going out there and giving it a try.
Hi, my name is Frank Tamazuka and I make pottery. I've been making pottery for a long time. I really enjoy the kind of natural expression of clay, and the way I work is trying to let the clay do what it wants to do. But of course, I make items that are functional, so it's important that they feel good in the hand, that they work functionally. I'm very influenced by the traditional Japanese ceramics. I've never studied there, but just kind of been guided by what feels right. All my stuff is fired in a kiln up to a very high temperature. I use a lot of traditional glazes, which can only mature at a very high temperature and in an atmosphere that has very little oxygen. So it really affects how the glazes come out. And I don't know, I just sit down and try and make a bunch of stuff that I enjoy making. I work a lot at the Romero House Pottery next to the Tucson Museum of Art. And I'm also in a gallery called Yunji Park here in Tucson. They're a great gallery. And I have home shows and go to shows around town.
So we're back at Papyrus with my good friend Candy here with what is this? The Glass Goddesses.
Well, it's actually Dos Serena's Glass Studio.
How did working with glass start in your life?
It started in Sacramento, California,
Okay.
where Teresa and I both lived. And we were friends from scuba diving, and she was off work for 6 weeks, and she said, I'm going to take a fused glass class. And I said, great, I'll take one with you. What's fused glass? And so we started taking classes and more classes from this one woman, and then she asked us to be an apprentice.
And how long ago was that? When did that start? What year?
13 years ago.
13 years ago.
Oh, actually, no, 15 years ago.
15 years of glass work. That's
Yeah.
really cool. All of these pieces here they're not blown glass. You said you were talking about they were fused glass?
Fused glass. Fused glass is where you buy sheets of colored glass,
Mm-hmm.
and it all has to be the same COE, which is coefficient of expansion, to put them together. Otherwise, once they're fused, they would break apart.
Okay.
So it's all like glass, and you cut all the colors, you put them together, then you put them in a kiln and fuse it together the first time so it's one solid piece.
Mm-hmm.
Slump it into a shape. After that, it's another firing, or you embellish it with little things called microdots and really embellish something like
one
this.
Is very cool. There's each little line has a different piece going on.
Uh-huh. Or you make a vase.
I know this looks a little more than just making a mold. So do you take like a tool and kind of like bend it, or is this is a mold?
You make a big round piece of glass,
Mm-hmm.
how you want it to look. It looks like a big pizza.
Okay.
And then you put it over a stainless steel mold that's been treated, and in the kiln it goes from this to like that.
So is working with glass, has it made you more patient?
No, you have to be patient with glass, and if you're having one of those days where you're not, it's not a
don't
glass
work with
day.
glass
Yeah,
today.
because we do cut ourselves a lot, it
Yeah,
happens.
I mean, you're working with glass, so
Right.
it's bound to happen. So where can we find all of your pieces? Where do we go
We're
to find
actually online,
that? Okay.
doseserenasglass.com, I think, and and we're also in the SAAG gallery of
Okay.
gifts.
Awesome.
So we're,
You're
two
everywhere.
places.
Yeah,
and,
you have
and we're in Saddlebrook, and we do a lot of commission work for Saddlebrook.
Okay, very cool.
Saddlebrookians.
Okay, well, this has been Candy, and this is her glass work. And what's the name of it one more time?
Dos Serenas glass. It's two mermaids because we're both scuba divers.
Perfect. Well, thanks for checking out this glass piece. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.
One.
Thank you.
So we're back here with Linda and Clydine, two pottery masters.
That's mistresses.
And they're going to tell us how they know each other and how they got their start.
We know each other through a group of clay artists in Southern Arizona Clay Artists.
Okay.
It's about, a couple hundred members. There's a really active clay community in Tucson, and that's how we met.
Okay, awesome. And how did you guys get your start? Because it wasn't Clay Masters where you got your start in pottery, right?
No, I started when I lived in Seattle,
Okay.
and I was still in my previous career.
Okay.
And I took a tile making class. And from there, you can see that I have branched out into all sorts of things.
How did you get your start?
I started at a local the city's art program at the Reed Park Pottery Shop, and I took classes there for about 5 years with different teachers, and then I've also taken some workshops.
And you said that you got your start in '96, right?
94 is when I
94.
started doing clay, and in 98 I started teaching. And actually teaching other people how to throw pots is the best teacher itself, because you have to figure out.
Because they're going to make mistakes that you have to figure out. And
Yes,
then
you have to figure out how to impart what they should be doing to them in an understandable way, and not just do like this, explain why. And so I got to be a much better potter when I started teaching.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. And what about some of your pieces here? What
I make a lot of mugs. These were made on the potter's wheel. And then you attach the handles later. This is my favorite line of pottery that I have right now. It's a desert series carved on the... Thank you, Clydine. Carved on the pot.
That looks so cool. On the inside too. Oh my
The inside
goodness.
is green.
Green is my favorite color. So
Oh, is it? Well,
yes.
perfect. You may need to buy this from me. It's a spin-off from these little guys. I thought I could do it on big things.
But she has done images on this pot.
Yeah, on that jar.
And you can
as
see
well.
that it's a lidded piece, but lots of carving and
Yeah, I like the color.
Very cool. Can you tell me about this cat and the cactus on the back? Jojo.
I can, Jojo. My mother, we got my mother a cat after my dad passed away. She named her Jojo. The cat was very unsociable, so we got her another
A
black
friend.
cat, so now she's got two. And she named the other one Little Joe.
Little Joe.
And as she got older, she had dementia, and then all the pets became Jojo. So I figured what I should do is start a line of things
I
that
like it.
have Jojo. Yeah.
But you said Jojo was very This Jojo looks very social.
Well, this Jojo is quite social.
Okay.
And the second Jojo, Little Joe, was very social.
Oh, okay.
And the first one only became social really later in life.
we're both at Desert Artisans Gallery on Tanca Verde in Tucson.
Okay.
It's a great gallery. It represents about 60 artists. And there's a range of work from wood to ceramics to beautiful paintings and photography and jewelry.
Awesome.
So,
Well, okay, everybody, you better check it out. Check out my
Yes.
friends, okay?
It's definitely worth a visit. And we have an online presence through social media. So
Awesome.
they just Google Desert Artisans Gallery, they'll find us.
And we'll find it. Perfect. Well, thanks everybody for showing up. This has been Desert Spotlight.
Hi, my name is Renee Michelle. I'm Southern Arizona with the Southern Arizona Artists Guild today at the Sweep the Gallery event. I always knew that I was going to be a fine artist, probably since I could start talking. I started out as a dancer, and so movement has always been a really large part of my work. Most of my work contains a lot of vibrant color, a lot of movement, a lot of line expression. This piece right here is a real early piece of mine. I was taught a very intuitive type of creative style under a Japanese teacher named Keiko Hara at the University of Wisconsin in River Falls. She really opened up my ability to intuitively work, to interpret the physical world, the spiritual world, the emotional world. And I've also expanded into some collage recently where I'm doing some assemblage. I have a series over here that's a 4-panel series called The Four Seasons. It's summer, fall, winter, and then spring is all the way down here. This piece right here is really close to my heart and soul. I'm from the Midwest, and we will go to northern Minnesota to camp in the summer with my family. So the body of a dragonfly, but it's a woman, and these are her feet. This is the little light of the spirit of the dragonfly. And then the wings I made really transparent and also added in the flowers of the trees that were in the area to emphasize the aspect of nature. It's called Dragonfly. My studio has changed quite a bit into a very small space, and I've had the opportunity to add sewing to my work. I'm working currently on a mask series that I'll be putting up in the Southern Arizona Artists Guild as my new work coming up this fall. If you'd like to find some of my work online, I have a website at reneemichellefineart.com, and I will also be exhibiting work in the SAAG Gallery and at the La Encantada Mall starting in August. So we hope to see you down here. Thanks so much.
Okay, so we are here at Papyrus with Nancy and Pam, and they are two photographers, and we're going to be talking about their art.
I came to Tucson to study at the University of Arizona. I studied art photography and photojournalism and have worked my life there in the photo world.
I am originally from the East Coast, and I dabbled in photography and several other mediums, but photography really spoke to me, and I headed across the country. My original plan was to hit Colorado, but I actually came to Tucson via California for a job.
Awesome. So when did you start shooting prints? When did the love start?
The love started for me probably when I was a teenager. I went to college, had a photography course, fell in love with it, but I pursued a graphic design degree. So this is really one of my passions, my hobbies, and I just want to share my passion with other people, and hopefully they enjoy it as much as I do.
So I've had a love for photography since I was in high school, and obviously I studied it and worked as a photojournalist, and then I got into the art and teaching others creativity and cameras became my passion. So that's my thing. I teach at the gallery next door. I teach at the Miraval Resort. And yeah, so I think it's a wonderful way to just expand mindfulness and be, have another creative outlet.
So I see it says Tucson, but where specifically is this?
Do you know where the Tucson Old Town Artisans is?
Yeah.
And the Tucson Museum of Art? So if you go down there and you wander around, and you go into the side streets, you'll see these awesome colors and plants and yeah, the windows and just the shadows, the simplicity of the details. I love that cow's head. It's just fantastic.
It's a super cool piece to just have right by the door. Now we're gonna scoot on over. So we were talking earlier about these cool pieces that you have, the photos on canvas.
Yes.
So how'd you get that idea?
I thought I would get some printed on canvas just to see if I liked what it looked like, and I'm really pleased with the outcome because it does almost look like a painting versus a photograph, but it is a photograph on canvas.
And this one is, I think, by far my favorite.
The story behind that is I was actually flying from East Coast to West Coast to figure out where I was going to live, and that is the sunset, sunrise. I don't remember which direction I was heading, but that's out the plane window when I took that photo.
Where can we check all this out? Where can we find your artwork besides Gal? So we said
the Southern Arizona Arts Guild at the Maraval Resort, downtown at the Old Town Artisans, Tohono Chul, and the Ritz-Carlton gift store. So my stuff is around.
Awesome. And what about?
Yes, I'm also in the gallery, the SAAG gallery, and my website, pamhigby.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks for checking us out today. We'll see you on the next one.
Now it's free. Hi, my name is Bruce Matlock, local artist in Tucson, Arizona, and mostly do found sculpture, found art. This is a fish I've been working on for years, finally completed it. Headlights from an old 40s Ford. Try to stay out of the ordinary with my work. I don't want to follow anybody's lead on any of it. The back, or see a lot of stuff on the inside, from fishing lures to mirrors. Those are yo-yos inside. Like I said, the LED lights aren't working right now because I don't have a place to plug them in. I've had this piece and been working on it for years and finally just completed it recently for this show. So very excited to be getting into the art community more and more each day. Never seen a fish with antlers on it before, but I have now.
I'm Robin Baker, and this is my little section here. My watercolor paintings and dichroic jewelry, which is minerals attached to glass, which turn out different colors depending on what minerals they are, and pick up the light. Fell in love with that early on and had to start making it myself. And down here we have some necklaces. You can see the real sheen of the dichroic. Really fun. Happy wear, happy jewelry. Prints down here, and then I also do ceramics. And my husband and I both do it. And then these are garden totems, mostly ceramic. This is really a stand, and you can pull this out and you can put it in a pot or in a garden and jazz up the color when you don't have any flowers going. And they last a really long time.
This is the spire that I've just recently finished. A lot of farming implements in it, the discs and lamp parts, basically. Been collecting parts for years and years of different things I felt that I wanted to create with. I've had this thought forever on wanting to do a spire like this and have several more in the works at my studio. These are totems that my wife and I both do together, collaborative on the ceramics. I do the metal work, and we also do the glass work in our own studio. All this work's done at our Studio 7 that we've created. And just lots of found object parts. That is I call it a jellyfish. It has the Freon tank as the main body, and then ceramics running down from the inside and on the outside, and the jewels with a pressure gauge on the top of it. But like I said, we don't really follow the ordinary on anything. We want to stay fresh and creative and march to our own drum beat.
So Bruce and I met when I was 19. He was 15. And I was with my best friend from college, and their families were tight. We went on a trip to Mexico, and he fell in love with me and came and found me 35 years later. And we've been making art together for the last 15, 16 years. And here it is. It's colorful, it's happy, it's vibrant. It's us.
Bruce Matlock, Robin Baker, great friends and artists and
Partners in crime.
Artists and partners in crime, absolutely. You can find us on Facebook, Studio 7, and we're working on doing a Instagram post or site.
Or you can come right to.
Or you can come to our studio.
SAAG Gallery.
Yep, SAAG Gallery, and we
Encantada.
do a studio of our own at our residence, and we also teach classes there in glasswork and in welding. So, like to have fun and keep it kind of free and easy.
We are back with the SAAG president,
Jeannie Meredith.
Jeannie Meredith, and we are going to be talking about SAAG, what it is, and then we're going to be going into some art. What is SAAG and what's your role again?
SAAG is the Southern Arizona Arts Guild, and we are a nonprofit organization of artists. And the gallery, which is across the sidewalk there, is one of our major projects.
Mm-hmm.
Today we're doing a pop-up in 2 empty locations at La Encantada. And we have about approximately 40 of our artists that are participating in this pop-up. The purpose is camaraderie amongst other artists with each other. And as I mentioned, the gallery is our project. We sell a lot of art in there. All of our artists are local. The artists that are in the gallery work in the store as well. So when you come in there, you have a very good opportunity to meet the artists that are actually displaying and selling in the gallery.
And so you're the president now. How did you get your start in SAAG?
The way I started in SAAG is I had been in association management for 30 years. I owned my own company. I decided to retire early because I could. About 15 years ago, I got into the machine embroidery. And I gave away as many things as I possibly could until my kids finally says, "Okay, Mom, I have enough blankets and I have enough pot holders." So that meant I had, to continue to do it, I had to sell it.
So what do we have here? We have some of your pieces.
These are some of my items, and as I mentioned, I do machine embroidery. These are my hot sellers. These are made with a special batting on the inside, which is heat resistant, and then it's backed with like an ironing board covering fabric. They're thin and they're light, but they're very, very effective. And this is my most popular item, are these, and I have these available in the gallery all the time.
And
this
right
is
here.
another item that I do that are becoming very, very popular. It's called a bowl cozy. And basically, if you want to heat up like a bowl of soup or a bowl of chili, or anything really, you just set your bowl in this, put it in the microwave, and then you take it out holding the edges of this, and you don't burn your fingers.
I would have been really effective at my house the other night. My dad burned himself 4 times. And this is definitely my favorite, the bird on the pillow. And you were telling me earlier you don't do a lot of pillows, but...
I don't do a lot of pillows, but I do some really fun pillows. And this is one with the bird, and it's like a 3D, so it has, its wings are, little flat there. And they're just kind of a fun decorative item that I do, one of the things I do.
Okay, well, thank you for telling us about SAAG, and thanks for showing off your art.
Thank
you. If they want to get this, they can go over to the Southern...
Exactly,
the
SAAG
Southern
Gallery.
Yeah, perfect, at La Encantada. So, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. All right, that was our show. Starting Friday, August 28th, we'll be streaming on our YouTube at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. You can also visit our YouTube page where we upload our clips individually. You can find that at Desert Spotlight. Find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Discord. Interact with us, and if you or friends you know are artists that wish to have your art in the spotlight, contact us and help grow our community in the desert. Thank you for tuning in, and good night.